Hey, what's up? I'm ChrisJ.Wright. I started the Moment of Truth Straight Talk series to show rawness and relatability through social media, to advocate for mental health through self-care by sharing my life story through my experiences. It's not where you start from, it's where you're going. One of the most important things we have in this life is the ability to grow and change. I've made a lot of mistakes in my life, but I've learned from those mistakes, and because of the mistakes, I try to live a better life moving forward. You don't have to sit still and allow yourself to deteriorate because you made a mistake. You have to figure out why you made that mistake and put a plan and action in place to create a better future. And for that reason, this is why mentorship is very important in life. If someone started their life off and they were 50 steps ahead of you, you're not starting off on equal playing field. That's not something you can control. If you're born into poverty, that's not your fault. Growing up, my family didn't have much. We didn't have much resources. It took me a long time to accept that if I wanted something in life, I was going to have to go out and get it. Half of the things that I've done in life is not because I felt like I was just doing something or, trying to create something. I feel like the things that I've done is because I had to. People that grow up in environments that are more challenged, where the resources are not there, you're trying to figure out a way out. You find yourself end up doing things in some cases that you never thought you would do. And this is due to desperation. Desperation has forced a lot of us to do things that we're not proud of. And this is why it's important to possess the ability to grow and change. What are you feeding yourself? Is it knowledge? Are you trying to change your current circumstances? And how are you doing that? You may not have grown up with the proper guidance or mentorship. But that doesn't mean that just because you didn't start a certain place, you can't get there. You just have to use your environment and your space and learn to be resourceful. And in this day and age, we have Google. Anything you want to know, you can research. So I think it's a lot easier now to be successful versus when I was growing up as a kid. I don't feel like all the resources were in place. Everything's at the tip of your finger. I used to dream about becoming a football player. I never saw people in my family that were lawyers and doctors. I never saw that was possible. And most of us are limited to what we see and learn. So if you grow up and your mom does housekeeping and your father isn't there, it's going to be really difficult for you to dream outside the box unless you learn to be resourceful in your environment. You have to go out there and seek new things. If you stay in your house, you stay bottled up in your pain. You don't talk to anyone. You're going to be what you are. there's nothing that's going to happen for you. At 14 years old, I didn't have a clue how to be successful. But what I did have, I possessed the ability to grow and change. I wanted to listen, learn, and educate myself by any means necessary. I know what crack cocaine looks like. I used to see pipes on the side of my house growing up. I know the smell of drugs without ever doing it. And these things are easily accessible for you to go and take or sell. It's not hard to find a local plug. And some of us started off trying to connect with plugs and trying to find a way out. And when you're in environments that don't have many resources, who are you going to look up to? You're probably going to look up to the neighborhood drug dealer or the neighborhood maybe fraud person. It's not that you want to connect with these people. You don't see anything outside of that. And if you weren't born with the ability to play sports, football, basketball, baseball, soccer at a high level, you're looking for your next move. I was blessed to have enough skill to be driven. I didn't allow my environment or my circumstances to dictate my future. I learned at an early age what I wanted to do. And if I felt like something was far-fetched for me, I learned to pivot my way through life. I moved on to the next thing. And I think that's the way that you have to live your life. When one door closes, another one opens. But you have to believe that. Don't allow yourself to sit in a milk carton and just spoil. Stay fresh. Knowledge is power. Become resourceful with whatever it is that you have in life. And it may not be that much to start, but you got to start somewhere. It's a mindset. Make the adjustments where needed. I heard a saying once, and I think I was listening to a podcast, and the guy said, just get 2% better every day. And I was like, wow, that's really something to think about. How much is 2% really? It's really not that much when you think about it in the grand scheme of things. But if each one of us got 2% better in a month or in a year, you're a whole lot better. It's not a sprint, it's a marathon. Anything that starts fast ends fast. Life is about a process. No one became successful overnight. I know a lot of you have heard the saying, an overnight success. I don't believe in that. You have to put the time and the work in to get what it is you want out of life. And when one thing doesn't work, pivot. When you have a brand, use that. There's a saying, it takes 7 years to build a reputation and 7 seconds to ruin one. And when you're starting off as a child, you don't quite have a reputation. You have a chance to create this life and this vision that you want for yourself. Don't allow people to tell you what you can and cannot do. Children are dreamers. What happens when people go through the struggles of life? We stop dreaming. We forget about those things that we wanted to do as a kid. We let life dictate how we move. You're gonna have to go through something. to grow through something. If you weren't born with a silver spoon in your mouth, then chances are it's going to be a lot more challenging for you. Feed yourself knowledge, learn, listen, and educate yourself. Without these things, you will never be able to grow and change. You will never be able to create a sustainable future that you can be proud of. It's all about perspective. Choose your life. Don't allow someone to choose it for you. Make decisions that you're proud of. Keep fighting the good fight. And if you do these things, you'll become 2% better. Thanks for coming along and joining me on this journey of discovery and self-reflection. And I hope through my experiences that I have provided some peace, hope, and perspective that will inspire you to move forward and to become a better version of yourself. If you liked my content, please subscribe. And remember, aspire to inspire before we expire. See you next week. Peace.